Hello crafters, this is Julia from JustOneMoreCard.com, and today I have a big announcement. I am joining the Alleyway Stamps as a YouTube specialist. I don't know what a YouTube specialist is. It sounds very official, it sounds very qualified, so I hope I can give you some tips and tricks along the way. I am going to be using the Monster Mesh stamp set by the Alleyway Stamps, and what we're going to look at today is how to fill out stamps that don't have a lot of detail, like this one right here. That's the one we're going to be using today. I'm starting out by laying out all the acrylic blocks that I need, and I'm going to be using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Nowadays there are more inks that work with Copic markers, and I have my standard A2 sized card base right here. There are more inks that work with Copic markers, but when I started out it was basically Memento Tuxedo or nothing. And this ink will not bleed if you use it with Copics. Copics are alcohol-based markers, and usually they make every other ink bleed. There are a few others nowadays, as I said, but I still have this one. I like this one, so I'm going to stick with it. So here we have it, a very simple, basic shape. And now I'm grabbing my Inkadinkado masking paper, and you can see I keep all my scraps in here. Looks kind of chaotic, but it's perfect for occasions like this when I just need a simple, like a tiny little piece. And I'm stamping the same shape right here, and then I'm fuzzy cutting it. And a tip for fuzzy cutting: turn the paper, not the scissors. When I heard that for the first time, I didn't really know what it meant, but you can see here that I keep the scissors in the very same position and just turn the paper. And that helps if you have like slightly curved shapes. And this is a very easy shape. Now I'm putting down the mask onto the shape that I just stamped, so it is protected. And now when I do the rest of my stamping, it will stamp on the mask, but it will not stamp where it shouldn't go. You will see that in a minute. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense yet. I want to get all my stamping done on this second little monster before I remove the mask, just to make sure I'm not stamping where it's not supposed to go. And you have all these little accessories in the stamp set, different sets of eyes. You could use these here as feet or as hand or maybe even as antenna or something completely different. It's so much fun to create your own monster. Now I'm lifting up the mask using my tweezers here because I didn't want to bend the card to get it off again. And you can see how clean this looks. You really have the impression that one monster is slightly tucked behind the other. That is the magic of masking. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now I'm using this huge eye. I love this huge eye. It's so much fun. It looks like a girl. And then we have this fun little mouth here that we can also stamp. So that's basically our stamping. Oh no, I'm not quite done. I still need the sentiment. See, I always forget the sentiment. And before you start screaming or getting a panic attack, yes, I'm cutting it apart. That's okay. I learned it from Jennifer McGuire. When she says something works, then it does work. We know that. And now I'm able to stamp my sentiment next to the monsters because it would not have fit otherwise. That's why I cut it apart. Okay, now the stamping is done. And now when we look at this, we basically have two simple shapes. And we want to add interest to these shapes. That's the purpose of today's video. So I'm grabbing a pencil. And I know you can hardly see it, and I apologize for that, but I really only want very thin lines here, and I'm adding like stripes to this monster. I hope you can make this out, like just following the movement of the pencil here. And you want somewhat like thin lines, because we will go over them later on with another pen. But if we make the lines with the pencil too intense, and then when we trace over those lines we're not quite precise, we'll have to erase stuff, and then we might run the risk of smearing any ink. So I'm just being very light-handed here. Here I'm drawing circles. There's like, everybody can draw a line with that on the other monster. Everybody can draw a circle. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle, just vary the sizes and it's going to be fine. And then I'm going to grab my Copic multiliner. I only have a very thin one. I wish I had a thicker one, but this one will work as well. And the Copic multiliner will of course work with Copics and not bleed. That's why I'm using this one. And I'm now tracing the pencil lines. I'm sometimes not entirely precise, but again, that's not a problem because you won't really see the pencil lines later on. And now you can see how simple lines can already add interest to these images. Of course, I'm repeating this with the circles as well, and you can see that my circles are not perfect either, but that's okay, that's not a problem. This is not an art contest, you're supposed to be having fun. So just do whatever makes the most fun to you, alright? So now we're done with the drawing, and now we get to the fun part, which is the coloring. I will be showing you the colors that I'm using in the top left, yes, in the top left corner, and I'm going to speed up the process later on because otherwise it's going to be very boring for you. I'm going to play some music and then come back to you at the end to show you how I'm finishing off the card. Just a word on the coloring. I like to color from dark to light, and I like to color two coats. So I'm putting down the darkest color first, going to the lightest, and then I'm coming back with the darkest to apply a second coat and to intensify the colors. You will see that in the video. And yeah, I hope you're not too bored. I hope you enjoy the coloring, and I will see you on the flip side. Alright, you're still here? Thank you! Now we're done, and you can see, even though this is Copic friendly cardstock, it of course bled through. Now I know there's, like for example, Simon says stamp cardstock that doesn't bleed through, but to import it to Germany, it's very expensive, and I guess a lot of you will have Copic friendly cardstock that also bleeds through. So you think you can't do one layer cards, but as you can see, I simply grabbed a piece of paper and glued it to the inside of my card. So on the inside it still looks absolutely clean now, and on the outside it looks like a one-layer card. So I hope this is a little tip that will enable you to use your Copic friendly paper for one-layer cards, even though it bleeds through. Now for the fun part. I decided that these monsters need googly eyes because they're fun. They're so much fun. Of course, the eyes are already so much fun, the eyes that we stamped, but the googly eyes just add a little bit of like action to the card. It's unexpected and it's really funny. Now you could stop there. You don't need to go on. You could stop right there, but I decided to grab my white gel pen and add some detail to the card. And since we used circles here, I am just holding my pen somewhat vertical, or as vertical as I can, and just add dots around the green circles here. Nothing else, just simple dots. There's no skill required. Everybody can do this. Everybody can be successful with this. And for the other monster, I like to do a dot pattern. And what I like to do here is I put down 3 larger dots and then fill in the space with the smaller dots. I feel that gives it a feeling of more randomness than if you would have dots that are all the same size. The all same size dots work on the other monster, but here I feel the random pattern works better. And that is the finished card. And I'm going to shake the eyes a little bit for you. I hope that doesn't make you seasick or something. But I just like the interaction that you get. You just want to shake the card and see the eyes move. That's just so much fun. Here's a close-up of the monsters, of the coloring, the accents we added with the white gel pen, and of course the fun eyes. And here's a look at the entire card. You can see I also added a few sequins and matching colors for some bling. If you like this video, subscribe to the Alleyway YouTube channel, to my YouTube channel as well, please, and leave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much and see you again soon. Bye!